Wildlife, one of Kenya's most valuable resources, and yet for the longest time, human-wildlife conflict has been one of the country's greatest challenges.
Nilitichwa na ndovu moja, alikuwa anatembea peke yake. Isipokuwa ni Mungu wangu, singekuwa hai.
Zamani, kabla watu hawajajaza kila mahali, hii ilikuwa ni corridor moja, watu wameweka fence sana.
A growing population and inappropriate land usage are two main issues at the heart of the human-wildlife conflict in Kenya.
The protected areas now are surrounded by farming communities, people who are practicing different land uses.
How best can we manage this direct competition for resources while promoting peaceful coexistence between humans and wildlife?
Now, it is estimated that only about 20% of Kenyan wildlife lives in protected habitat. The other 80% in unprotected areas in communally or privately owned land, usually bordering human settlements, a fact which contributes immensely to human-wildlife conflict. Hi, I'm Esther, and this is Project Green.
Hii shida ni shida imechukua muda mrefu kwa sababu hii ni shida hata mimi nilikuta. Mimi nilikuja hapa mwaka wa 78 na nilikuta hiyo shida tu, lakini wakati huu umefuma zaidi. Usaidizi wa KWS ni haba mno kwa sababu hata wakati wanakuja, hata kabla ya kukaa unasikia wameitwa kwingine kwa sababu hawa watu ni wachache sana. Au ukiangalia hapa ni ndovu alifunja. Hii ni ndovu alifunja, alikuwa anajaribu kuinua hivi ndio atoe mahindi.
Kuanzia kama saa 1 hivi na saa 12 unaweza kuziona zimefuatana pale. Kila siku inakuja. Wakati iko pale na mulika inarudi tu. Ukikosa kukaa inakujaga kila wakati. Sasa mimi nasikiliza kama inaenda. Kama inakuja tu nashukua mawe. Nakuja pole pole, nafika hapa. Nasikia naenda, narudi tena.
The protected areas now are surrounded by farming communities, people who are practicing different land uses that are coming up in the rangelands because people would like to earn a living. So they come up with all sorts of a kind of farming or any other activity that can generate revenue to them.
Just adjacent to this farm, you can see those trees right at the edge of the horizon over there. I'm being told that those were actually villages where people have vacated because of the issue of elephant invasion in the area. It's been that bad.
These farmers in Wagwashe are right at the border of the expansive Laikipia ranching company. At dusk, elephants troop down from the ranch to look for a tasty treat in their farms. Efforts to contain them have not availed much.
Bado ndovu anapita kila mahali, anapita tu hapa.
So it's about 10 p.m. now, and I'm joining Mr. Shege and some of the residents who are keeping vigil in the watch shed. They're watching out for any herds of elephants that could come in to invade their farms. And if any of them do, they're going to raise the alarm and they're going to call for backup from the village. Now, I understand this is a daily affair.
Every night, these farmers take turns to watch out for the elephants and chase them from the farms when they invade, a task that can sometimes turn out to be fatal.
We need to plan where we should put, where our protected areas are and how they can be protected. Secondly, we need to look at the migration corridors. We need to acquire some areas. The government has to buy land to get areas that are good for wildlife, then settle people somewhere, areas that are arable for agriculture.
Many miles from Wagwashe in Nanyuki, still in Laikipia County, the story is the same.
Kama last year, tulipoteza bloko 5 za mahindi zote, hakuna kitu tulitoa. Yeah. Then this year 9 cabbages. We shall harvest nothing here.
Are you supposed to plant here?
I may not be able to answer that because I do not know the history of the area.
Actually, it's not the fault of the elephant. It's not. Because when the lands were subdivided, they did not take into consideration that wildlife movement and migration patterns. So I would generally say that some planning was not done with consideration to wildlife.
Hawa sasa ndio wanaenda kukula huko kwa hizo mashamba ya watu?
Hawa ndio wanaenda kukula hiyo mashamba ya watu.
Sasa hii ni corridors za hawa wanyama?
Ya zamani kabla watu hawajajaza kila mahali, hii ilikuwa ni corridor moja, watu wameweka fence sana. Hii fence sasa imewekwa na Kenya Wildlife Service na pamoja na ranch, mwenye ranch pamoja na community.
Mitigation strategies such as this have helped temporarily in containing the situation, but it is clear that the enactment of a national land use policy will go a long way in solving human-wildlife conflicts in hotspots such as Laikipia County.
So right now we're just joining the team, the KWS team, as they do their rounds, their evening rounds. Then we understand there could be some elephants nearby, so we're headed there to see what's going on.
Covering an area of over 9,000 square kilometers, Laikipia is one of the most expansive counties. Lack of adequate resources and personnel makes it difficult for the Kenya Wildlife Service to promptly deal with every distress call, especially during the harvest season when they tend to receive an overwhelming number of calls. Tonight, the trail is muddy and the roads are impassable, and we are unable to carry on with the patrol.
If you look at the land use planning in the country, they don't consider wildlife as a viable land use option. The government has to buy land to get areas that are good for wildlife, then settle people somewhere, areas that are arable for agriculture. But as far as conflicts are concerned, it is going to be there.
So that's just a snapshot of the human-wildlife conflict situation in Laikipia County as the various stakeholders, the KWS, ranchers and the community at large continue finding ways to manage the situation better. Let's now join Dan as he discusses this further on Green Talk next.
Thank you, Esther. When wildlife requirements overlap those of human beings living near them, there is always a serious cost to residents and the wild animals. Can we truly harmonize social and economic development activities with wildlife conservation? With me in studio to answer the question, we have Dixon Kaelo, the CEO of the Kenya Wildlife Conservancies Association, and Ibrahim Kantet, the Executive Director, Eserian Wildlife Association. Gentlemen, welcome to Green Talk. So in terms of solutions, where are we?
A lot of what is happening now is that we have humans encroaching further and further into wildlife corridors, into critical dispersal areas, into breeding areas for wildlife, and starting carrying out activities that are not compatible with wildlife conservation. And so how the answer to that question is, what kind of mechanisms could we adopt that allow people and wildlife to continue coexisting? Okay. I think there are quite a number of examples that have been tried. One that I would like to point out is formation of conservancies. But
even with the formation of conservancies and getting them to have specific areas, there is still serious human-wildlife conflict. Why is this still happening even with the formation of conservancies?
I think the issue is humans and wildlife have always coexisted there before. But currently, something just happened. When people started realizing that there is something known as money, money became the biggest problem and the biggest obstacle when it comes to these conflicts.
So money will not solve everything in terms of loss of life.
But let me interject here and say that compensation is treating symptoms. You haven't treated the cause of the disease itself. So we might have whatever amount of money we have. And as long as we don't treat the problem, we will keep compensating. And we have a number of compensation schemes in this country and worldwide that have been tried, and often they end up failing because you haven't really looked at what is the cause of the problem.
And it gets to compensation. All these national reserves and national parks should set a fee from tourism. Whatever they are collecting from wildlife should at least have a sort of an insurance that will cater for any losses brought about by wildlife. They should just do that and try to get, even the tour companies, they can do something about that and get some fee which will be protecting this wildlife.
But is there really a proper land use policy where, because apparently most of the wildlife is, they're living outside the area?
That one should also be given a big priority because every piece of land being sold is fences get erected. And migration corridors get blocked. Just some years back, you can look at Kitengela now. Kitengela towns are mushrooming from every corner. The whole Kajiado County, towns are mushrooming all over. There's no proper land use plan.
The other half of the problem is actually creating a mechanism where those landowners who own land will then be able to agree that, yes, I live in an area which is within a wildlife corridor, which is important for the migration of wildlife, and I voluntarily join into a system supported by government that allows me to use the land in a way that continues, allows wildlife to continue using the land. So we need a policy, and also we need practice within communities that are living in these areas to adopt land uses that are compatible with wildlife.
And speaking about incentives, because most of the people who live alongside the animals feel that they are very far removed. The focus is, the animals belong to the government, and the people are left to fend for themselves. So the focus is always on the animals.
In Masai Mara, for example, we have 2,000 landowners who have come together and put together their privatized land pieces and set up several conservancies. These people are generating about 300 million shillings every year. And this money is paid directly to their accounts, individual accounts. And since that scheme started in the Mara, wildlife numbers in those conservancies are unimaginable. Huge numbers of wildlife have come back. And they have even agreed that they will be grazing their livestock elsewhere and only coming in to graze in the conservancy during dry times, because they have now seen that this wildlife in these conservancies is so valuable that I'm even withholding my livestock from taking there. So they're really getting direct income. And I think your question on how do you make sure it goes directly and equitably to everybody, because that's the bottleneck. That has been the bottleneck.
So Mr. Kantet, what is your solution? What do you think is the solution?
Just developing a land use policy that will protect habitation and try to control human population from encroaching into wildlife habitats.
All right.
That's the solution.
All right. I'm afraid we'll have to end this particular discussion here. So thank you very much, Dixon Kailo and Ibrahim Kantet. Thank you very much for being on Green Talk.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
So clearly, our wildlife is not only important for our biodiversity, but it is also our prized heritage. Therefore, we must always strive for a harmonious coexistence. On Green Hero this week, we bring you people who are working to mitigate human-wildlife conflict in their own way. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
So kwa majina anaitwa Walamanja, tunaishi hapa Risa. Niko na kondoo 100, mbuzi ni 68. Shida misiko hapa sana ni wanyama nakula wengine isi ya porini kama pisi, simba. Sasa ndio hapo ndio shida tumepata hapa sana. Mwaka 2009 alikuwa ni simba, alikuwa amekuwa mbaya sana, alikuwa anaingia hapa akakula ng'ombe 3. Siku nyingine ya pili akakula punda, siku ya 3 akakuja kula chip. Nimesikia vibaya sana kwa kuona hizo wanyama akakula mfugo wangu.
My name is David Manoa. I'm a programs officer of Bone Free Foundation here in Kenya. The Land-Proof Boma started back in 2010 after the successful Pride of Kenya campaign, where we got some money after auctioning 50 lion sculptures, and we used that money to start the project in Amboseli. The process of constructing the boma starts with the application, where the community who are in hotspot areas, the areas that are hard hit with conflict, that is livestock being killed by lions. Once they send us the application forms, then we assess the forms and we plan for a day to go and construct the boma. To erect a boma, you first of all measure the size of the boma so that you can be able to estimate the material that is required. That is in terms of the post, the chain link, and the drum door. Once you have estimated the cost, then the community is told how much they are supposed to contribute in terms of the cost share. And then you organize a day where the community digs the holes, and we have technicians who help the community to put up the boma. And the community at the same time are also trained. So the community puts the poles, and then the chain link follows, and we finally finish by putting up the door. We try and use simple materials, materials that are locally variable.
Sasa hii ni ile waya, hii ni kikinki, kila tukua tumejenga hii.
We make use of plantation posts that are treated together with chain links, and the doors is just a flattened drum, and then the hinges we use the Maasai shoe to make the hinges. A boma can accommodate up to 1,000 livestock, but on average, according to our monitoring system, we have found that on average, every boma has about 250 livestock.
Niko na tofauti sana kwa vile tunaona hata hapa boma tumejenga, tumekuwa na waya, tusaidia tena waya, tumejenga, tumefiringa tena sana. Mimi naona mzuri sana. Tunamwambia watu tuishi pamoja na wanyama pori, tukae pamoja, tushirikiana, watu wa KTN.The kwa pamoja. Sasa kwa vile boma wamefiringa, akuwe sasa tunalindana pamoja. Ng'ombe tunalinda mifugo ya KTN.The.
Since 2010, we have constructed 143 bomas. And out of the 143, it's only one boma that a lion was able to get into the boma and kill livestock. So I can say that the success rate is 99%.
Tangu tupate boma, tuweke firinka, hatuja kuona tena shida ya wanyama pori. Tumekuja tukae kwa heshima mzuri sana.
Human settlement, there's agriculture, and then there is wildlife. All of them are competing for the same space. So if we urbanize people, so it's already happening, but we need to accelerate it, but in a deliberate way. The next thing we need to do is zone places for agriculture, places for wildlife. But you can actually do a mapping, let's say of elephants, where do they pass, and then zone that place, and then prevent either human settlement or agricultural activity. My message to Kenyans is that we must take seriously the conservation of nature. Nature, as Wangari Maathai put it, is unforgiving if we damage it. And we need to find a way of coexisting with nature in general. Wildlife is part of nature, and it is our responsibility.
Majina yangu ni Gitonga Titus, na ningependa kuuliza hii swali. Huwa ninasikia kuna competition ni wakati wanyama wanaharibu, lakini hatujui sasa tangu damage ianze kufanyika hapa tujawahi kompetitiwa. Kutoka last year tumepoteza zaidi ya chakula hika kama 10. Inauliza serikali kama kuna njia ambaye tunaweza kuwa tunalipo hiyo damage ikitendeka.
The stand of KWS at the moment, and probably the national government, is that we do not compensate for crop damage. We used to do it before, but it was actually suspended because of malpractices that came up. At the moment, we only compensate for loss of lives and injury. And I'm happy, at least as a KWS officer, in the new wildlife bill, we are going to see the rates reviewed so that it can actually help the communities who actually get injured through conflict with the wildlife. I can say that some of the issues that people are saying that they get delay of compensation is actually attributed to when you find that someone has been given a compensation form, but the necessary document to be attached, maybe if someone has passed away, maybe the death certificate is not there, or the IDs are not there, or wrong IDs have been put in those forms. Those are some of the things that make them feel they have been delayed, but that is not from the KWS point of view. Once we receive a form that has got necessary documentation, we always process it within 1 month.
That magnificent beast behind me has a right to be here, and so do the human populations that live around these areas. We have to find a way to coexist harmoniously. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Project Green. Until next time, stay green. Since the filming of this episode, the Kenya Wildlife Conservation and Management Bill has been passed into law and addresses many of the issues raised in this program. If successfully operationalized, the Act will go a long way in enhancing a mutually positive human-wildlife coexistence in Kenya.
Now we're right at the outskirts of the Laikipia Ranch. Now the elephants start coming from this point down to the people's farms when it gets dusk. When it gets dark, okay. So we're at the outskirts of the Look at the friendship with the doggy and the cats.
Hii akikaribia tu anagongwa na anatoroka. Usiguze.
No, lakini sijasikia kitu.
Sasa.
Oh, you're not supposed to touch it.
Isikaribia.